what happened at the Square Enix whole TGS preview presentation type thing, that basically explains everything. Because you have the people that was making Dragon Quest basically talking about production and stuff like that, right? And essentially they get to a point where people were talking about the whole costume change of this one character where they had nothing but a bikini on and now they had to throw on some random piece of orange cloth or whatever. And obviously we hate that shit. But they basically end up saying the exact same thing that majority of actual people that play games and give a shit about the industry and things of the sort like that has been saying for a long while since we have seen this damn design. Basically calling the country that they are working with, most likely United States, when it comes down to it, ridiculous and pretty much unreasonable. Basically saying that, hey, we can't even call the options of the two different characters male and female, we have to call it body type 1 and body type 2, and even going as far as to wondering who the hell is actually getting upset this damn hard over the design choices that has originally been there. I'll tell you exactly who. It's literally the people you work with. Like, it's not necessarily the fault of the Japanese here, that I'm gonna be real with you. It's not really their fault 100%. It's more so the fault that because they don't know a lot of the stuff that goes on within the West and how things kind of are and these social changes that's been happening recently, I honestly think that, the West are just trying to take control and take advantage of their, ignorance when it comes down to it, and essentially just be like, yeah, no, real gamers don't give a shit about the whole male and female thing. We need 1 and 2, yeah, that so no one gets offended and all that type of stuff. I severely wish that we had a better direct contact or a line of information and communication to really Japan just entirely, as like people who will legitimately play these games and legitimately consume their media all the time. I wish there was a better line of communication, because it clearly shows that there isn't one. And every time Japanese people try to talk about how, like, oh, why is the West so weird about things? Why do they keep trying to force their agenda on stuff? It's not us. It's literally the big ass companies that you work with. It's literally those type of people. If we had an actual line of communication, we wouldn't be having this problem. We will be seeing lots more of good ideas and big ass tits and all kinds of things from the Japanese side when it comes down to their media. But we can't have that because we don't, for a lot of people, we don't have like a lot of power to, show that, hey, we really like this stuff. Don't change it. And somebody else with money and power in that position and in somebody's ear at these companies will be like, yeah, change it, please. But my thing is, though, at the same time, it's like, I don't understand how has it gotten to this point, and how is it so obvious and clear that no one have pointed this shit out. I told y'all, like, many times ago, and plenty of people have said many times ago, the moment they started being like, yeah, we can't have Simran Kagura on Sony games anymore and just kind of, censor the shit out of those type of things, I promise you, that was the beginning of all this shit. That was literally the first major blow of all this shit that we should have just jumped on and been like, hey, hold up, what the hell is this shit? And now it's gone to the point where it's basically just too far now. At this point, who knows if we can actually salvage this shit? And it's the reason why so many people are going to China to play their games and going to Korea, South Korea to play their games essentially. And that's how it is now. It's just very unfortunate, and it's a very annoying ass situation, right? It's probably the reason why a lot of anime now doesn't really hit as hard as it used to, mainly because of certain other things that happen in time. But still, nonetheless, this is also part of the big reason as to why anime isn't the way it should be, right? While we got so much of it hit the mainstream and now it turns into some unrecognizable thing that honestly doesn't really feel like anime too much more as it used to, where it used to be some cool ass thing. Now everybody kind of involved in just like, yeah, I don't know what happened here. Don't get me wrong, you still get some good shows and good comedy and good, moments in anime and stuff like that. I'm not saying it's completely bad, but it's not completely shit. But it does show you that, yeah, there is a lot of things that has changed over the years, and it's not necessarily great, and we can kind of blame it on a certain group of individuals that is just within the damn industry. And this is also the reason why people are afraid of so many people trying to jump in from the Western market, trying to buy different things within, or try to buy some type of interest in stock into these companies over there, because it's changing shit and no one wants it. But at least not everybody in Japan, feels that way or is easily manipulated to the Western ideals. Because you got people like Kadaka, the creator of Danganronpa, that's like, you know what? I know not a lot of people are going to like my games. I know a lot of people are probably going to be questioning the morality of these things. But at the end of the day, I'm making the games for the people that likes the same things as I do. So I'm making it for my audience. Recently, with Nomura basically talking about the uglification of characters in games, and he was like, yo, I had a classmate back then who was talking about why this game character look ugly as shit, and he's like, you know what, you're right. So from that point on, I'm giving y'all some beautiful characters. Cloud and Sora, you're welcome for that. Tifa and Yuffie, you're also welcome. Aqua and Kairi, yeah, get them hoes in there too. Like, it goes to show you that they are very much knowing some of the stuff that is definitely going on that they don't necessarily appreciate. And now, especially with Dragon Quest, showing you full force that, yeah, this is some weird shit. Why does it have to be changed? I don't understand. But because that's what we're told, that this is what the Western people, are trying to avoid and stuff, we'll just comply. And that's the unfortunate part. The very simple thing that Japan has to do, or should do, in any situation when they make a game, is literally be like, yo, make it for the Japanese audience first, and then the West and everybody else will buy it after, right? If it doesn't necessarily connect with other people in other countries, that's not really, our problem. Or at least that's not really your problem at the end of the day. That's kind of ours. Granted, I understand the point of localization is to kind of make it understandable. So like, if there's a Japanese type of joke that happens over there that only Japanese people would get, they would have to kind of make something over here that's a bit more understandable, which makes sense, but it doesn't have to be super extravagant. And that's where, again, the localizers come through thinking that they own shit and try to do a lot of dumb stuff, and it just doesn't really help, and it doesn't really work out in any shape and form. So at the end of the day, when it comes down to all of this, essentially what Japan needs to do is just focus on their own country and their own audience, like they have done back in the past. Then worry about everything else after. I get it, you want to get your money up, you want to get your companies going and things like that. Square Enix itself is not really looking that damn good when it comes down to it, but I promise you, you will probably make tons more money if you focus on having gamers in your ear for once, and having people that is actually knowing what the industry should be doing in its best interest of making fun games, and then the money will flow after. And that's kind of the problem with a lot of the industry now, and just everything in general. Instead of people that is passionate about anime or passionate about games, or people that's like really been about the arcade life or things like that, you don't get those people anymore. Now you got pencil pushers and people that do marketing and financial stuff and all them type of analytical things, and they don't know a fraction of what gamers actually want. And it's sad, and it's the reality, unfortunately, of what these companies are doing now. It doesn't have to be like this, but it is like that, and it's extremely sad. So that's really what I wanted to say for this one. So hopefully you did enjoy. If you did, be sure to like, share, subscribe, hit the bell notification on your way out. Also follow me on the socials, and if you'd like to donate to the channel, Kofi and Cash App is available as well. And until then, it's Boy J, signing off. Have a blessed day.